This is Alta in Northern Norway. Alta is known as one of the best places in Norway to see the Northern Lights. In fact, its nickname is the City of the Northern Lights. And well, within minutes of arriving last night, I did see the Northern Lights from the ship I was on in the port. And later on in the evening, we got a really good display. So as far as I'm concerned, they can keep the nickname of the City of the Northern Lights. Of course, it's not the only place in Northern Norway you can see the lights, but it's a pretty good choice if you're planning one of those once-in-a-lifetime trips up to Scandinavia to see the lights. Now, the Aurora Borealis is the reason most people do come to Alta as tourists, whether that's independent trips or on the increasing number of cruise ship calls that call here in Alta in the autumn, winter and spring. But it's not the only reason to come to Alta, and if you are planning a Northern Lights hunt, there are things to see and do here in the daytime. You don't just have to sit in your hotel or your ship and wait for the darkness to come. There's even a World Heritage Site here in Alta, which a lot of people miss because it's not in this compact city centre area behind me, where there's not really very much for tourists other than perhaps the Northern Lights Cathedral, which is this building you'll see behind me, and we'll go into detail a bit more on that later. Before we get started, please do check out lifeinnorway.net for more on Alta, Northern Norway, and all things Norway in English. Now, to get us going, let's put Alta on a map. Alta is the largest city in Finnmark, the northernmost and easternmost part of Norway, with borders to Sweden, Finland and Russia. But calling Alta a city just doesn't feel right. It's really a collection of villages, with a relatively modern commercial centre built to create the Alta we know today, which got city status just over 20 years ago. This disjointed feel of Alta is heightened by the fact that the seaport, airport, museum, and most other main attractions are all outside of the commercial area. Central Alta is very much a functional commercial centre for the city and surrounding region. Aside from hotels, a large shopping centre, the bus station, and a handful of places to eat or get a coffee, there really isn't a lot here for tourists. The only real tourist attraction is the Northern Lights Cathedral. You really can't miss this striking building. It's a modern architectural curiosity in the otherwise functional downtown. Even if you don't like the exterior, and many people don't, the church hall is beautifully designed, taking inspiration from, of course, the Northern Lights. Themed churches aren't always popular, but I think this one is very tastefully done. On a recent visit with my friend Lynn, we were fortunate enough to visit as a guide from the church gave a brief talk about the building. He was very easy to understand and even told us why the seagulls don't sit on the spire. You'll have to visit yourself to find out the answer to that one. Down in the basement, there's a Northern Lights exhibition with a short film about the lights and the nature of the area. You do have to pay to enter both the church and the exhibition. Although I do think it's worth visiting the church hall, the exhibition, well, that's up to you. Since we were on a ship with astronomers and other Northern Lights experts, the exhibition didn't really add anything for us. But if you're an independent traveller or you're visiting in the summer when there's no chance of an aurora sighting, perhaps it's something worth considering. The entrance fee is cheaper if you only want to visit the church and not the exhibition. Now, as I've said, there's very little else of interest in the downtown area, but that does change later in the winter when the city comes alive with ice sculptures, the Borealis festival, and the Finnmarksløpet dog sled race. When I visited in March, I was surprised to find the city's high street blocked off, with lots of people, including schoolchildren, lining the streets. The schoolchildren were playing around the ice sculptures, and especially on this slide made of ice. I certainly never had a slide this fun when I was young. I'd stumbled upon Finnmarksløpet, a set of long-distance sled dog races that are well known in the field. The longest is an astonishing 1,200 kilometers long, and that race takes several days. I turned up to see several teams arriving at the finish line, and it was wonderful to experience the atmosphere and see how the sled dog drivers all went immediately to their dogs upon finishing to check they were all okay before any celebrations took place. If you're thinking about visiting Alta in the winter, early to mid-March is an ideal time, so you can join in the fun too. Now we go from modern Alta to prehistoric Alta, a few miles to the west. The main attraction at Alta Museum is the UNESCO World Heritage listed rock art, that is spread out over a wide area overlooking the fjord. Dating back thousands of years, these rock carvings depict scenes from everyday life, including hunting, fishing, and social activities, and animals including reindeer, moose, and bears. They show just how important the connection with the natural environment was to people living in these often harsh conditions. UNESCO says the thousands of paintings and engravings add to our understanding of the environment and human activities on the fringes of the far north in prehistoric times. Visitors to Alta Museum can explore the outdoor pathways that wind through the rock art sites. Allow at least an hour to take it all in. Although the museum is open year-round, bear in mind you'll only be able to fully appreciate the rock carvings during the snow-free months. Indoor exhibitions offer further context and details about the significance of the carvings and a good dose of Sami history and culture as well. Speaking of the Sami, a visit to Sami Cedar is the best way to quickly get a grasp on the culture and traditions of the indigenous people of the north. Run by a Sami family, Sami Cedar offers a cafe and visitor centre where a member of the family talks through traditional clothing and handicrafts, explains their lifestyle, and, depending on the time of the year, introduces you to some reindeer. Check the website in advance of your visit to see what's available, as pre-booking is needed unless you're just visiting the cafe. Then of course we have the Northern Lights. You don't necessarily need to book onto a tour to see the Aurora Borealis in Alta. They are often immediately overhead. That being said, it is always better to see them when you're away from the artificial light of the city. So many tours are available, of which most will head to a destination far inland. That's better for clearer skies, but it's often much colder, so dress appropriately. If you're travelling independently, make sure you're driving with lots of warm clothes, fresh water, and spare batteries, just in case. A lot of visitors to Alta come here to discover more about the Second World War. Northern Norway has some really interesting stories to tell from the period. The best place in Alta to find out more about the Second World War time here is the Tirpitz Museum. Let's take a look inside and find out more. The Tirpitz was a massive German battleship in World War II, a sister ship to the notorious Bismarck. Stationed in the Norwegian fjords to threaten Allied supply routes, it was moved to the remote waters of Alta, where its imposing presence posed a strategic threat to Arctic convoys. From this base in Alta, the Tirpitz forced the Allies to divert resources to monitor and counter its threat. After numerous air raids, Allied forces eventually sunk the battleship in the waters around Tromsø. The Tirpitz Museum may be small, but it's jam-packed with models, photos, and memorabilia from the time, making it the ultimate chronicle of the story of the Tirpitz. Visitors are able to watch a video telling the story and explore the various exhibits accompanied by a knowledgeable local guide. Now, although the Tirpitz was sunk near Tromsø, attempts were made to destroy the battleship when it was moored in Alta, and you can see this history hidden in plain sight between the town centre and the Tirpitz Museum, where there's this large crater. It's quite a sight and a very easy walk from the car park. Other things to do in Alta include exploring the Alta Canyon and visiting the Arctic Wilderness Camp at Sorisniva. This is a base for outdoor Arctic experiences year-round, including ice bathing, snowshoeing, and husky experiences. It's also home to an igloo hotel. Now, I haven't been to this one, but here's a taster of what to expect from a similar hotel elsewhere in Northern Norway. Thanks for watching this introduction to Alta. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you have a great time if you're planning a trip to Alta or anywhere in Northern Norway. If you are planning a trip, check out this video next for more on Tromsø, another Northern Norwegian destination where you can hopefully catch the Northern Lights. Thanks for watching.